What is up, InterWebs? Big Blue here, coming at you with another movie review. This time, I went to go see The Mummy. I gotta be perfectly honest with you folks, right up front. I had a lot of fun with this movie. No, it's not a great movie, but I don't think I was really expecting it to be. It was good. It was a lot of fun. It was a summer flick to just sit there and shove popcorn in your face. It was exactly, I think, what it was supposed to be. That being said, it definitely had a lot of problems. Now, I'm not going to get into any spoilers as to specifically what it was that bothered me so much, just some overall things. But I'll save that till the end, because I want to keep on the topic of things that I liked about this movie, because there was a lot of stuff that I did like about this movie. First and foremost was the lore that it built. Universal has been spouting that this is going to be the kickoff to their dark universe. And at first we just thought that was going to be a marketing term that they were like, oh, it's the dark universe. But no, and this might be a slight spoiler, but it happens in the first 10 seconds of the movie. It's when the Universal logo comes up and the globe spins around and it's dark, and it's the brand is right there in the opening studio placard is the word I was looking for. It's right there in the studio placard that it's the dark universe, and the graphic that they came up with is really cool, and I dig that. So they're fully embracing what they're doing with this, and the lore that they set up in this movie is really, really solid. A lot of the stuff that they were doing with, and now all this is in the trailers, so all the stuff that they were setting up with the Prodigium and Russell Crowe's character as Dr. Jekyll, that was all fantastically done. I really, really enjoyed the depth that the story set up where their extended universe is going. Some of the other big positive things that I really enjoyed about this movie was the cast. Tom Cruise, once again, just personifies movie star. The dude is just awesome in this movie. I forget exactly how old Tom Cruise is, but there's one scene, in the trailers you see him wake up in the morgue. Well, that whole scene, he doesn't have a shirt on, he's totally naked. I mean, you don't see little Cruise or anything, but I mean, he's fully naked in this scene, and that dude's physique at the age that he's in, oh my god, it was really, really, really shocking to me to see, oh, dude's cut, and he's, as old as he is. Now, whether or not any of that was, special effected or body doubled or anything like that, I don't think so, because Tom Cruise is the type that he goes all in, and it would not surprise me if he went all in to have the physique of a movie star who's going to have his shirt off for not a good portion, but, a few minutes in a movie. So, Russell Crowe as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, there's some really cool stuff that he sets up, and I love, again, that dude is one of the best actors in working right now, because it's just, there's probably going to be some people that aren't quite thrilled with how they did some of the stuff that they did with his character, but for me, it really, really worked. The standout of this movie, by far, hands down, unequivocally, Sofia Boutella. That girl not only is she stunningly gorgeous, but she's got talent oozing out of everywhere, and she's just so entertaining to watch on screen. The portrayal that she gave of Aminette. Hang on, what was it called? Aminette. I was right. Is fantastic. It's one of the first times in a genre-style movie, if you will, that I felt something for the villain in this movie, and you could really get a sense of why she was doing what she was doing. And that, to me, stood head and shoulders above anything else that they did with this movie, good or bad. Is, number one, I don't necessarily know how the character was written, but what she was able to bring to some of the performances and some of the emotional journeys that the character had to go through the course of the film. You don't talk about the emotional journey of the villain in a movie very often, or ever, that I could think of. Maybe Star Wars, but that's another show. Alright, so no movie is perfect, obviously. And when it comes to the stuff that's wrong with this movie, there's a lot of stuff that's wrong with this movie. First and foremost, I've seen it before. I saw this movie with Brendan Fraser in it 10 years ago. I think Brendan Fraser did it better because they didn't take themselves too seriously. It was supposed to be campy. It was supposed to be tongue-in-cheek. And it worked. This movie, I won't say it took itself too seriously because there's definitely a lot of humor in the movie, especially Tom Cruise's character. But his character has a journey that, from the first time we see him on screen, it's, oh, I know where this is going. A lot of the CGI really took me out of it, especially when you see some of the effects, not necessarily with Sofia Boutell's character, but some of the other creatures that are in the movie. It's like, wow, is that really what you wanted to do? You sure about that? Okay. It harkened back to like 1970s claymation, some of the stuff, and whether they were doing that as like a tip of the hat to old style monster movies or not, it really didn't work for me. Courtney B. Vance is a fantastic actor. I don't know if this is what they were trying to go for, but his character was one of those over-the-top, Full Metal Jacket style drill sergeants that was like, huh? Really? I don't think he was actually a drill sergeant. He just was a loud, army chief, whatever the chief equivalent is in the army. Forgive me, I don't know. But it really took me out. Another thing that really was like, didn't work for me at all was we have a best friend character played by Jake Johnson, who did a fantastic job playing the character. I just didn't like what they had the character doing. He played Tom Cruise's Butch to Tom Cruise's Sundance, or vice versa. I don't know however you want to phrase it, but you get the idea. Anyway, moving on. Some of the tropes that they had that character do were, I'd seen them before in other movies, and I get that they were trying to maybe kind of play on that this was a relaunching of some of these old horror movies, but it was so blatant, like, y'all ripped that off. Why'd you do that? And when you see the movie, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Hopefully. If you're familiar with go see the movie, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And if not, ask me in the comments below and I'll tell you. The other thing that stood out to me about this was there were no consequences. Some of the stuff that happened that the Mummy did, or that Russell Crowe's and his cronies with the Prodigium did, or that Tom Cruise, when he comes back from the dead we see that in the trailer. It's the first trailer they launched, was he went down on a plane crash and wakes up in the morgue. What happened? There's no consequences from that. It's like, okay, if that happened, and I get it, it's a sci-fi, monster movie or whatever, but it just was kind of like, okay, that happened, now what? And they didn't address any of the stuff that happened with any of the outside, like police or media or anything like that, which is odd because in the very beginning of the movie we see, and again, this is not really a spoiler, but it's counterintuitive because we see the press talking about certain things in the very opening sequence of the movie. So it was enough that I kept noticing it as the movie went on. So I'll just leave it at that. And when you go see the movie, you can tell me if you agree or disagree. So, alright, so those are my thoughts on The Mummy. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. I just had a lot of problems with some of the stuff that they did. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments section below. Share this video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. It really helps us out trying to spread the word about what we're doing here. I had a lot of fun with this movie. I hope you go and see it because I know you will too. In the meantime, I'll be right back here with some more movie reviews, trailer reactions, and all kinds of stuff when you come back to visit me on the interwebs.